A blessed day, everyone. I am Jamela, and welcome again to Book and I. It is a program that will look on different books and their insights, which will help us to grow more in faith and practice. We already touched the first part of the book, which brings us to why the gospel is not everything, why it is not a simple message, and the how and why it affects everything. Now, we will move forward to the second part of the book, which started with a chapter which tells us about the need for gospel renewal. Gospel renewal is a life-changing recovery of the gospel. And here in this book, it comes in two forms: the personal gospel renewal and the corporate gospel renewal. For the first one, it tells us that the gospel doctrine of sin and grace is not just taught intellectually, but actually experienced by a person. As for the corporate gospel renewal, it is a season wherein the whole body of believers experience the personal gospel renewal. Now, so what with these two terms? How can we relate to it? Well, over time, no matter how biblically sounding a church is, we tend to lose sight of the uniqueness of the gospel. Because the default mode of the human heart is work righteousness, we do not ordinarily live as if the gospel is true. Thus, we need revival and renewal. Revival is not a historical curiosity. It is a consistent pattern of how the Holy Spirit works in a community to arrest and counteract the default mode of the human heart. Critiquing revivals. Over the course of time, a sharp criticism against revivalism was argued by William Sprague, and in this book, two of his greatest arguments were written. First, it undermines the role and importance of the local church, and second, emotional experience is placed above doctrinal soundness and holiness of life. In fact, the name of his second longest lecture was "The Evils to be Avoided in Connection to Revivals." Yet, despite of these great arguments against revivalism, Archibald Alexander remained a strong promoter of revivals, believing that those effects were not inherent to revivals and could be avoided or minimized. Revivalism today. And this same debate continues to echo until now, as unbalanced revivalism is still apparent in the church. Many of the so-called converts now easily lose their enthusiasm because what was offered to them is a quick program for a small group fellowship rather than a lifelong embodiment experience of community. And many of today's critics do more than lament these effects, denying the basic premises of revival. As the author says, "The basic insights and practices of gospel renewal ministry are right for two reasons. They fit our times, and they center on the heart in a biblical way." The answers of the critics may be to take off revivalism because of the results they saw. Yet, is it really the right answer to this? As what has been said earlier, unbalanced revivalism is what led to these unhealthy effects, so to balance it is what needed. Something we must understand is, gospel renewal does not simply seek to convert the nominal church members. It also insists that all Christians, even the committed one, need the Spirit to bring the gospel home to their hearts for deepened experiences of Christ's love and power. Indeed, unbalanced revivalism undermines the work of the established church. But balanced revivalism, where commitment to corporate and individual gospel renewal through ordinary means of grace, is the work of true church. A person can be in a church for a long period of time, even joining some ministries and church activities, yet be wholly unconverted. As for the end of this chapter, let me give you another quotation from the book where we can ponder on. Revivalist ministry emphasizes conversion and spiritual renewal, not only for those outside the church, but also for those inside the church. Some need to be converted from clear unbelief. Others need to see, to their surprise, that they've never been converted. Still, others need to sense their spiritual stagnation. And this is the chapter where we need to ponder on. Hope you learned something, and may the peace of Christ be with us all. Again, this is Book and I.